First thing on our agenda is approval of our July meeting minutes. Any corrections, concerns?
I have none. I have none.
Motion to approve.
So motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstention.
Andy abstains. He wasn't at the meeting. All right, thank you. We have no pending, approvals.
No.
Nothing, concerned about yet. All right.
Well, just the one that's on the.
You're on the agenda tonight, so. All right, so we'll get right into, Green Top. Sam, you're representing yourself tonight?
Yeah, my engineer was not able to make it. Tim Snyder, Green Top Road, Camp Rock Hill Road. Just want to go over the letter. We had a meeting with Steve, my engineer, and I. We submitted a while ago. We got about a 2.5-page letter and then resubmitted, and we got like a 4.5-page letter. So don't know why we got more comments than we did on the first one, but trying to figure some of this stuff out. So if I'm not doing this properly, you guys will have to let me know, because I'm usually sitting down there and the engineer is doing this. So I
Okay.
guess you want to go through number one. We'll just go right down the list. Is
I'll
that?
tell you what is the intention here?
The intention is, and that's my biggest issue. There really isn't much of an intent. House for my kid, and since I have to have a garage because it's C2, he has pickup trucks. He has a construction business, small. He doesn't have any employees. That's what it's for.
So it'd be your son and that it's gonna be his business there.
It's going to be his
I
business. there.
gotcha. Okay.
But I mean, in 42 years, I have never had an employee, so I don't expect him to have employees. Now, he might, and he's probably not going to live there forever, but that's right now, that's the intent. So the future garage was for if somebody wants to expand. As you know, on my property, I have a large garage, and to me, you can't have enough garage space. And my kid has seemed to take that on also. He's filled half of my garage up, it seems like. So that is the intent. How I word it, how we put that on the plan, you guys got to tell me, because that's all we want to do.
Right. I had trouble discerning where the property was on Green Top. So it was like the second one in off of,
It is the second one off of Old 309.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Then we had the first one that was attached to it. There was 3 lots there. This is the third lot. The 2 went together with the house, and then this one.
Gotcha.
So
Was that you made a 3-lot subdivision there?
no, I didn't do it. This was subdivided 60s, 50s
Okay.
or 60s. And then the house that was on the kind of awkward. The first property that comes in off of Green Top actually doesn't have the house. There's a row of hedgerow both ways, and there was a half-acre lot that somebody turned the garage into a house years ago. Because the front house on Old 309 is 2039A, and that house was B. And when I bought it, somebody had already turned it into a house, but it was run down, it was shot. So then the owner of that half-acre lot with the house bought the one in front and this lot here. So he had the 3 lots, and then they passed away. He passed away and she sold it. And I guess for ease of tax purposes, he had the 2 lots put together on the tax bill. So she only had 2 tax bills, my lot, and then the other 2 were on one. So that's kind of why it was on one tax bill. So I just sold it together with that, but I did no subdividing on that. So this has been in since, I'm pretty sure it's the 60s, 50s or 60s. I think the house or the garage was converted in the 60s. So one of the problems with this lot is it is all rock. In my younger days, I probably could have, it's 550 feet deep. And I said to Steve, I probably in my younger days could have gone front to back without touching the ground on rock. So that makes it very difficult to build on, find a site, but it also has made it real difficult for septic. We found a real good site, got a great perk. It's right up front. That's one of the other big questions. And again, if I'm moving too fast or probably the biggest issue is this second perk site that is seems to be required. Now, I understood the zoning the rules are that if the lot exists before that zoning, then you don't need a second site. But that's what I need guidance for. When I call the county health department, they say we don't require a second site. That's only if you're doing land development, subdivision, not building a house. If I have lots that I subdivided on Camp Rock Hill years ago, two of them still aren't, well, one of them still's not built on now. If that one gets built on, that doesn't require to have a second site to get a building permit because it's an improved lot with an improved site. So I'm trying to understand, because the county couldn't explain it to me, the DEP doesn't require a second site for existing lots. So I'm trying to understand why and whether that's necessary. I have the soils.
Just don't have the secondary lot,
Well,
secondary site.
I have the soils for the secondary site, but I have so many rock on it. Now, here's the kind of ridiculousness to this whole thing. The county won't let me move the rock to perk for a new site, a secondary site. But they'll let me move the rock, do a controlled fill, and perk in 4 years, which I can't figure out what the difference is. So I have the soils, and I have a real good site. It's not even a marginal site. It could have been almost in ground. The soils are that good. And there is extra area, but it's down in the right of way, which I can't do nothing with that.
Steve, what's your take on the existing lot and the secondary site?
If it were a single house that didn't require land development, it would not require a second system. But it's not. It's in the commercial zone now, and it's business in combination with a house, and it requires a land development plan, which requires the second. Like, I'm trying to find my comment because it was a couple months ago that I wrote this.
Now-
See exactly how it's. Right.
When I talked to the health department about this, the roofing place on Old 309 that was built not too many years ago, they only have a holding tank, from what I've been told. They don't even have a septic system.
Right.
So how did they get built? Because that was after the code, after the zoning change ordinance. So how did that get built without even a septic system? And is a holding tank an approved septic system? And if it is, then I should be able to use a holding tank as an alternate system.
You can't use a holding tank for a residential house, for a new house. Under DEP regulations, there's an exemption for holding tanks for businesses under 800 gallons per day flow.
Right.
Has to be a business. They won't allow a holding tank for a new residence.
Their logic being, if the business closes, sewage won't happen. Someone's still going to be living in the house, even if the tank's not being pumped.
Fair enough. If someone's living in the house and that system fails, which is highly unlikely, but let's say it does, they can do a controlled fill. You have avenues. And I would have avenues to get that second site when I can start going and moving dirt. If I can move rock, I can do a second site. I just can't do it now. I have the soils. I just got too many boulders.
Why won't they let you move the boulders?
It's
Then you're disturbing the surface of the ground And then, so it's not valid to do new testing on it,
Considered
and it has to wait 4 years for the,
There's nowhere where you can get a 10-inch hole between boulders.
Oh, it's not the 10-inch hole. It's the
Oh, the
It's
probe.
the site of the mound. You're looking at 10 by 60, 15 by 45. So you need very few, they'll tolerate some rock, but not, I mean, there's no site. It's close, but it's not there. And we have looked everywhere on that, for that.
the only thing I could say, your only recourse that I see is it's a subdivision ordinance requirement for the second system on a commercial site. You could ask for a waiver of it, but planning commission would have to recommend it, and the board would have to approve the waiver of the requirement for the second system.
Well, I guess that's why we're here, because otherwise everything's mute.
That's a big stumbler, that's for sure.
So it's a so you could ask for a waiver request for the
Overall.
secondary site.
I don't know if you included an overall site view in there. Point out where you did find the good system.
The existing, the goods area is right here. I could literally go right here. I could go in front, no problem.
You're probably in the right of way if you go in
But,
front.
I'm close to the right, yes, I'm not in the right of way, but I'm in the old in the right of way.
Well, that's a problem.
I could get back here, no problem, except where I got 3 or 4 rocks. Again, they could be moved later on. I got soils back in here that are no problem, and I can do a controlled fill. If you want to make the occupancy permit contingent upon the controlled fill area, maybe that's feasible for you. That it can't move in there till there's a controlled fill site.
And that's a 4-year.
That's a 4-year test. And again, that is as I was digging the driveway, that's why I stopped. I know what good soil looks like. I have it on my place where I have in-ground systems. And right at the road, I hit good soil. So that's why I put it on hold for a little bit. So that site's not going to fail, because that's going to be a sand mound. 3 of the holes went down far enough that should have been an in-ground or an at grade. Because we stopped at 44 inches, I think, or 48 inches. But then they found some modeling at like 28 inches on one hole, and that shot the whole thing. So we actually have extra over and above what I need for that site.
The infiltration areas, are those stormwater?
So
Is
that
it-
again, the infiltration is, there was 2 infiltration up here and there was 2 down here. These are where the stormwater is now, going to be. These were actually very good, but my engineer said that putting it under the parking area is a maintenance issue with cleaning out, making sure the stone doesn't get over grown and stuff like that. So
I'm just wondering if you could use part of that area for your septic area?
rock, that is on grade, that basin. I put a berm around primarily because I wanted to raise it up and put pine trees along to hide everything, but also and to do the tree visibility thing, but also because it is on grade. I actually had my engineer designed it with a swale and everything else, and I went back and I said, what didn't you understand? I can't dig there. So it is all rock. And that is an area where when the person, the guy that bought this whole thing, the front lot and this lot, he actually brought a driveway in, I guess he worked Landis block or something, because there's all kinds of pavers and block and blacktop. So it has cut through here. So there again, I couldn't get a septic system on that old site.
And you're saying that your proposed site is within the ultimate right of way?
No, the proposed site is outside it.
Okay.
I'm saying if I was able to use the ultimate right of way as an alternate site until I can get a controlled fill.
Right.
That would be.
So if you went with the site that you have now for your primary, and you did a controlled fill for your secondary, you have a spot that would work, you think would work for that, but you'd have to wait 4 years to get your O&O. That makes sense, Steve?
Well, were you gonna wait just for the residents and have the garage there and use it as a business? I'm just trying to get clear what.
I guess I
Your
can
thought
do,
was-
if this is if this is the issue, then I can change gear. I thought it seems to me a nicer use of the property to have a home and a business there as opposed to just a business. I could be wrong. You guys could say you would rather have just a business. If that's what you want, just tell me and I'll put just a business there. I don't really care one way or another in that sense. And then I'll do a controlled fill if
Well-
that's what I have to do, and then build the house afterwards.
If you just put the business, you could just put the holding tank in.
Well, I have a septic system.
Right, you have the system, so you might as
Yeah.
well use it, yeah.
The one
Yes.
thing I'm noticing, Steve, is it's within 10 feet of the ultimate right of way
Mhm.
and it's proposed 10 feet wide. I think you need to be 10 feet off that ultimate right of way with the system.
No, I don't think.
That'll be up to the health department once they get the final.
Yeah, them or DEP. I just,
It is 10 feet off. Well, I can't read that, so. I don't know. But we did double check to make sure it was off the
No.
10 feet off.
it's 10 feet off the legal right of way.
Right.
Right. But it looks like it's right up against the ultimate right of way.
Well, it's off the ultimate right of way. That's one of the other questions here. This was surveyed. My engineer didn't get that put on there. I can absolutely guarantee you, because the health department wouldn't come out until she knew where those stakes were.
Okay.
So it is only 110 feet wide, 111 feet wide across the front, and there are stakes for ultimate right of way. It's actually staked up and all the way up every 100 feet. That's how I found out the neighbor's septic tank is on my property. The neighbor's vehicles are on my property. The neighbor's shed was on the property because everybody thought they owned somewhere else. So it has been surveyed, and that's one of the things I wanted to address here. Yes, he probably has it on, he has it on there in the wrong spot, but I absolutely
Okay,
guarantee you
that's
that.
fine.
That's a good.
I just
question.
didn't want you to go through all these hoops
Yes.
and then have someone shoot it down in the end.
Yeah, Heidi Lynn was she's the health department
Yep.
SEO, and she was very adamant. Hey, you got to make sure I want that staked out there. So we are 10 feet off the ultimate right away.
Well, I mean, as for the preference of the township, I mean, that would be for the board to weigh in on, but it was changed to the Plain Commercial Zoning District, so it was intended to be for commercial development.
Right.
You do happen to allow or a dwelling in combination with a business, and that's what was proposed, so. It would certainly simplify things if it were just a business.
Right.
But you could do the house also.
If it's
Or
the
you could
business,
use
do you need the second system?
No.
It's the business?
You could use holding tanks.
Right, I mean, I know you could use holding tank, but if he has a septic, do you need
Yeah,
it?
so he does land development, he needs two systems. But if you're gonna give a waiver for just a business, you could give the waiver based on the ability to install a holding tank as the backup.
So if then in the future you wanted to put a residence there, you could come in after he has the business there, do the 4-year fill. And at that point, then you would have two systems. You have one down the front and the secondary. through.
Yeah.
But then I have a holding tank as a secondary system for commercial.
Well, it wouldn't be relevant at that point, once you got the second septic. Or
Once
it
again.
wouldn't
You
matter.
design the first one
Yeah.
for the garage and the house, even though you're only building the garage. So that when you do build a house, you just tie it in.
I don't want to be overly simplistic about it. You would still need the waiver of that section of the ordinance, because the ordinance requires 2 tested, approved areas. So you need a waiver to accommodate what you're talking about, but it's, I think, easier to justify
If it's just.
if it's just a business.
Right.
And it's
I would agree
it's
with
a
that.
low flow, it's a,
Can you put on like deed restricted or something with regard to, you need to have the secondary system established and built before a house can be built?
I mean, if everyone agrees, but yes, we've done,
So if in the future you want to build a house.
put a covenant on the property that.
Right.
I got no
have a
problem.
restriction.
I thought it makes it more appealing to have that, to be quite honest with you. The house and the garage, the house and the business, because that's what I thought C2 is for, primarily for living there while you have a business. So,
Well, it's one way to get the ball rolling. Do the business first. And then
I'm-
down the road, you can build the residence. If you're inclined to still build a residence. We just want to have a business there. You don't have to worry about much more. Well, let me rephrase
Yeah.
that. Septic wise.
I wonder how the neighbors would feel about it. You know, in the sense of whether they would rather have, and you're not that far away, would you rather have just a business next to you, or would you rather have a business with a home next to you where you know somebody's going to be taking care of it better?
It's a good question.
And that's, you know, unfortunately, we didn't make the meeting when the letter went out. We weren't able to get everything together, unfortunately, but I got to tell you, if I'm a neighbor, and actually a good friend of mine who I sold that house to is the neighbor, I can guarantee you he'd rather have a house and a resident there.
Sure.
Yeah, and that is what the C2 is for.
Well, it allows it.
Right, it's not the intent of the ordinance to have all businesses with.
No, I agree with you.
It's just an allowable use.
It's an allowable use and it allows people that are residential to remain residential.
Right.
So is there any way, and I'm not opposed to just the building, or just the business, but is there any way we can make this work with residential and commercial the way it is now,
All at once.
all at once? And make it make
That's a
sense.
Secondary system.
They have to be comfortable waiving that secondary system.
And we can waive that.
How many times do systems fail in the township? Newer ones, not something old, not something on a half acre, not something that was put in the 60s. These mounds are way over designed. You ask the health department, they're about double what they require. How long is it? When's the last time have you heard a mound that's been put in, aside from abuse from ownership, where I knew a woman that was running her well to clean the well out. She just kept running it down the drain and she blew her septic system out within a month or two. So, but even that, once she stopped running the well water down her sink, then the septic dried out. It's very rare. I don't know that I've heard of one, and I can ask the health department, and you guys could certainly ask the health department, but again, this is not a marginal site. This ground is really good. And you can look at I can get Steve the soils report. There is some real good spots in West Rock Hill Township, oddly enough.
Not right up the road from you.
Not, and even further up the lot.
Right.
It's just certain spots where it lays.
It's the bigger issue would be after 4 years, what happens if it doesn't pass?
Exactly. That's what I was just about to ask. I mean, what's the certainty that if you do that fill site, that it's gonna pass?
Well, I guess the other question for me, and not to be difficult here, but the other question for me is, let's say I build the garage and sell the property. Next person comes in and says, I want to build a house with my business, and I have a legitimate, perfectly good working septic system. The township can say no. Township will say no to that person. You can't have a business there.
Can't have a
Or you
residence
can't
there
have a residence there.
without a secondary site. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not if, they would say no if you did a covenant on the property,
Right.
the way they,
All right.
Well, plus it'd still be a land development for a new house, right?
No, technically it wouldn't.
well, Yeah, because it's not a house on a single lot. It would be expansion of the commercial.
Oh, okay. All right, that's the way you, that's, let's see, is there anything else? Is there any other major issues that so I no longer need to worry about the E27,
Well, I think you need to
I just need to do
submit
a
something
commercial.
in writing. Like, we asked for there was some typos or final errors in that narrative. And number 2 listed a couple errors in the narrative. You just go back and fix the narrative, and then also indicate in there, it's a business for whatever your son's company is. He has 1 employee, he has 2 trucks, that are just, so it's clear to the township what the commercial business is.
So then that opens up the door to,
And then whether he has outdoor storage.
an outdoor storage.
The outdoor storage there's guidelines for outdoor storage. It has to be screened. It has to be no more than a certain area.
Okay. Some of the other issues, I see some driveway stuff. I'm kind of confused on the driveway. I got a permit to put the driveway in that was 5 feet from the property line not too long ago. And then I'm being told now that it's too close to the property line. Why, if it's allowed on a commercial, it was C2 when I applied for the permit. It clearly showed that I was going to be 5 feet off the property line.
Which number are you looking at?
There was a couple
7A,
times
I
proposed
think.
driveways,
That one.
yes, 7A.
I didn't say that it's not allowed. I said consideration. It said consideration because there's a required side yard buffer. But just be clear, the township public works issued a driveway permit for a driveway entrance. They didn't know what was going on the property. They didn't look into it like you're suggesting that they should have known. Maybe they should have looked into it, but they didn't. They issued a driveway permit because it met the site distance and didn't have a problem. Number 7A is not saying you can't have it there, but it is saying it partially goes into the buffer yard, and you need to maintain some vegetation there. So you're already on this plan coming away from the property line as you come up into the lot, right?
Well, we tried to keep the 15 feet.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. So
yes. In all,
I guess what I'm trying to say is if you can maintain some of those existing trees between your new driveway and that property line, that accomplishes the buffer and using existing vegetation.
and I think the question on there was, is that going to be okay with the board?
What actually falls under the zoning ordinance?
Structures. I mean, as far as in a buffer, structures,
Structure.
Yeah.
Okay. So
which was
driveway's
another problem with the
Right.
garage in a house is too close. Is it, the issue here that's I guess confusing is, if I'm not mistaken, the buffer yard is 25 foot wide.
Think-
And the side yard setback is 15 foot.
Yes.
So effectively, the side yard setback is 25 feet because you have to meet, you can't have a structure in the buffer.
Okay.
So the structure right now is in the 25-foot buffer. Correct.
Yeah, you'd have to push that more towards the middle to get out of the 25 feet.
So the driveway at the entrance is choking down that 15-foot.
Yeah, which again isn't specifically prohibited.
Right.
My comment was, the more you could keep it away and keep its existing vegetation there, then you could count the existing vegetation towards your buffer vegetation and sort of call it even. You knock down every tree down that side, you have to replant trees because it's a buffer yard.
I'm with you there, and I have no problem with that. And I kind of saw there was a possibility of an issue, so I only went so far in with the
Mhm.
driveway. I think on the the permit shows it going up a couple 100 feet into the property. I stopped because I was concerned about that. Plus, I would have had to run over the neighbor's shed that was on my property, so I
Yeah.
gave him time to move it. So,
And Yeah, and we're asking for the site distance to be shown, not because we think it's not a good place for the driveway, but that's usually just in case any vegetation has to be trimmed to get the site distance. We want to know that
All right.
that could be done.
And the culvert pipe, there was a comment in there about the storm, the water, the road water.
Yeah.
I assume my culvert pipe, which was again put on the plan or put on the permit for permit, I assume that was,
We need to show it on here. I don't think it's. shown
oh, we don't
here.
show that? Okay. All right.
I would only
fair
brought it
enough.
up if it wasn't on here. It very well could be on your. permit.
Okay.
I don't have.
All right. And I guess the only other outstanding, was there two, the stormwater facility,
Mhm.
did you get everything you need for that or not? Because according to Jeremy, you guys got everything and maybe too much. Meaning Ken put his old thing in there. You got two different designs.
Yeah.
Is that
which
what the
probably-
confusion
that-
is?
You probably.
Okay. So
You're
we
saying
will
you're
straight-
not doing this upper one now,
I'm not doing the upper what?
the upper infiltration stormwater. That one under the parking lot.
It's all down here.
Yeah.
That one we got rid of, yes. So, all right, Ken didn't, yes, we will get the plans cleaned up for that. Any other major lighting? I guess some of that goes away because there's no residents there. So we'll have to do the lighting
Well,
as opposed per the garage. So that'll have to be on the
right, but I
plan.
think it's more just, you need to know the fixtures have to be full cutoff fixtures and you can't have, glare onto any property.
And I think there was some question about road widening. Before we go any further, do you want, I think it's 2 feet? Because I need,
14
let's see,
feet.
6A. So right now the cart width is 24 feet and I need to be 14 feet from the center line. So that means I'd have to widen 2 feet. Does the board want that? I would be
Well,
more than happy.
2 feet unless township wants curb and then it's an additional, it's gonna be 4 feet.
It's 111 foot of frontage, so driveway takes up a good portion of it because it's an angled driveway. So if you want it, I'm more than happy to put it in or put it on the plan.
And this goes to that question we've had with some of the other new development in the PC
Right.
districts.
And we do have residents on both sides, correct?
Yes.
But that could change.
In what way?
They can be converted into businesses.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, some of them already are. We just
Just don't know about it.
don't know.
Well, then we gotta get curved sidewalk.
Well, I guess, yeah.
I know nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can only deal with this problem. We've done, on the other two sites, recent sites, you did widening and a sidewalk where it was easily installed on Forest.
Right.
Yeah, Tulio project.
Yep.
We're still in discussions on the other site. It's on the other side of Old Beth, or Bethel Pike.
What's your frontage? 111?
111 feet. Driveway's about the entrance, since it comes in on an angle, it is a pretty wide entrance. So I think I put 60 feet of pipe in.
You should remember from your other projects with the township, public improvement waivers come with a contribution to the township. That may change your mind of just wanting to do it.
That's up to you guys. I just need to know what I need to do. If you want it, or I have to budget for it. Correct, Steve? My engineer would have to come up with a number of
Yeah.
what it would cost. So we're looking at 2 foot of widening and what's sidewalk, 3 foot, 4 foot?
4 foot.
4 foot. So 4 foot. Driveway cut, is that part of the sidewalk that stays or is that still blacktop? Because it's on there as.
It could
needing
stay
to
as
be
blacktop on a commercial.
So then you're looking at what, 50 some feet of curb and sidewalk? I'm happy to do it, or I'm happy to waive it. The problem is then that's going to push your swale back 6, 7 feet. which is going to put a jog in there.
No, the sidewalk would be on the other side of the swale. With a winding swale and then the sidewalk. The swale would be between the sidewalk and the road.
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
The sidewalk will be in your septic site.
It won't be. I promise.
Septic.
Um,
Guess we're back to a holding tank.
What's anybody's thoughts on curb and sidewalk? I mean, the future is it's developed.
Yeah, it's on Forest Road. It's kind of out of place, but I mean, I,
Gonna look out of place now, but
eventually, right?
eventually.
But that wasn't curb though. That's only, it's
You
just,
you did not require curb on the other projects.
I mean, sidewalk would be.
Curbs,
We had the one on the other side of Green Top, that Bethlehem on the corner there. It was this subdivision.
the curb, when you're this early in redeveloping it, causes a problem with drainage, because then how do you get the water off the road? And until you can install storm sewer, curb really doesn't work.
Doesn't help.
And I think the widening is going to create the jog in the swale also.
Oh, yeah, it will.
Yeah, we're going to have to move the swale a little bit.
It will.
So,
Well, it sounds like, we'd like to see sidewalks out there without curb,
With the widening.
with the
with the
widening,
widening.
with 2 feet of widening.
And if you angle the driveway more to accommodate for the buffer, you're gonna have a wider driveway entrance, right?
Well, the entrance is in and that did accommodate for the buffer. It just started on a hard angle because I figure all the traffic, if there is trucks coming in, they're going to be coming in from Old 309. They're not going to be coming down Green Top Road. So I made the angle kind of a sweeping thing. So my entrance it goes to the property line on, as you can see, goes to the property line on this side. This side, it sweeps a lot harder. Like I said, 60 foot of pipe is what I put in there. So it is a long sweeping radius that comes into that property. So there will be about 50, 55, 51 feet of sidewalk out there and road widening. Now the driveway itself is road widening in and of itself. So the entrance.
I'm just looking down to a letter to see if there's other things, just to clarify now, so we don't end up later.
Yeah.
So the overall buffer yard question is, there's still the issue of the township has to accept existing vegetation in lieu of. What we've done on some of the other projects, we just talked about it at the one on Forest, was to accept it initially with a note on the plan that says it'll have to be reviewed when all the clearing is done. And if for some reason, it got over cleared or there were some dead
enough.
trees and now there's gaps
Yeah.
in it, that you would agree to install
That's fine.
some evergreens or whatever
Yeah.
the screening plants are.
That's not a problem.
Any issue with the swale jogging and then tying back into the existing pipe under the driveway?
Yeah, there will be an issue because the neighbor's pipe is like 7 or 8 feet from the property line. So we're going to be going over and trying to come back hard. His just washed out that last rain. My pipe didn't wash out, but his pipe washed out. And that was a 12-inch pipe.
Yeah, I'd have to look at it in the field. I think.
So yes,
No.
his pipe is right here because we put that in. If we replace the one, there was one right here. So it's only 7 or 8 feet from the pin, if that. So yeah, there will be a jog in it.
I meant on your side.
Oh, my side, no, it's clean. Oh, you mean on it?
When I'm saying when you do the road widening and move the swale, your pipe's not going to be in the right location.
Oh, my pipe. Well, my pipe, it's either gonna have to jog or I'll have to move the pipe. Or put a pipe on an angle.
Just aggregate out there now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to have to see you tearing
Tearing
up
up the
that
black
fresh
out.
asphalt.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you there.
How about the waivers?
All right.
The street improvements,
So we've decided we're not waiving them.
Just curb.
waiving curbs.
So what kind of drainage facilities are required?
In this case, the drainage facility will be regrading the swale.
Swale. Okay. Okay, so we're widening 2 feet and we are doing sidewalk, 4-foot sidewalk. But now will this impact that, Steve? My end wall will come out right here. If I remember correctly on the plan from my basement. The end wall comes out and dumps right there. Is that gonna create a problem? If we try to move that swale, or if we try to do a sidewalk there?
The sidewalk would be the issue, not the swale. What is the, I don't remember what your discharge is, how small it
I
is.
think it was an 18-inch.
Well, that's probably because it's by ordinance. I don't know what it needs to be. There's a potential that you could get a waiver from the pipe size if it's not gonna be much flow. So, you know, if you could do an 8-inch pipe or 12-inch pipe, that might be easier to get under the sidewalk. But your engineer would have to talk to me about that. I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head. We'd
Okay.
have to figure something out there.
So then we would have an end wall between the sidewalk and the
If it's a small
swale.
pipe, you wouldn't need a large end wall.
Wouldn't need a, so we would have enough room.
But again, I just can't design it on the fly here.
Fair enough.
I think we'd probably rather see a waiver for a smaller pipe than have an issue. So
I would agree, as long as the engineering's there. All right, what was the second one?
Parking facility requirements. I don't even know how to answer that because it's
No,
not much
that-
of a business.
Your parking design standards are set up for a larger commercial business with landscape beds and islands and whatnot. So you have waived similar requirements on small parking lots.
I'm not building a Wawa, I guess is where we're going.
And the landscaping would be the existing vegetation that's left around. Right.
Or if we need to add trees.
Right.
Okay. Traffic impact study, that was the other one, waiver wise.
Wait, can we just go down the list here?
Oh, I
skipped
thought we
one.
did.
I'm sorry, we skipped number 3.
well, we kind of talked about the
Oh, that's
existing
the
trees for the
buffer.
public.
Okay, yeah. So we're not waiving the zoning ordinance. We're not technically waiving the buffer. We're providing a buffer. Township is accepting existing vegetation in lieu of new vegetation, except in the case if it gets, you know, that there's any openings that you'll install.
Yep.
So that's not,
There's trees going up there anyways.
yeah.
I mean,
So that's
that
not a-
neighbor I want to hide from myself, not me from him, to be quite honest with you, if you know the one with all the junk on the road there.
The one with the white conversion
Yeah.
hanging out on the road?
Yes,
That's your neighbor?
yes.
Yeah, I,
So,
Plant a lot of trees if I were you.
well, I plan,
And a fence.
once I got, well, it's too hard to put posts in because there's too many rocks, but anyways.
I think on a technical basis, number 3 is not a waiver.
Yeah.
You can't waive the buffer because that's a zoning issue.
Right.
You're accepting the trees which the ordinance allows, and he'll replace plantings if necessary after clearing. All those meet your ordinance requirements, so we don't need number 3. And then 4 is the traffic study.
With one employee?
Yeah, I would think that.
Yeah, it's not gonna show them necessary.
Is there anything else jumping out of here? You gonna hook up
Driveway
the,
width, I'm not doing a 2-way street, so is the current driveway width of 14.5 feet wide?
That would be a waiver. You would need to request a waiver.
So I need a waiver. Oh, I am, it's a requirement. It didn't seem like, so it is a requirement to be 24-foot wide for a commercial,
For two-way driveway, yeah.
for a two-way. Is it a requirement to have a two-way driveway in commercial zoning? I guess is what I'm getting at. I didn't have.
Yeah, the only
intentions-
way to not do it is have two one-way driveways, which you're not doing.
I think of it as you pull in and then you pull out. That's your
Two-way.
two-way.
One way in.
Okay. All right.
You can only interpret things so far.
Loading zones, I don't have a loading zone. Trash collection facilities, I don't have well, obviously it'll
You're gonna
be
have to
trash
show-
at the end of the driveway, or do we have to have a dumpster since it's commercial, or is it just a roll off? Is it just a normal? I
would-
was planning on residential, but go ahead. Should I just show a
You should
dumpster on there?
show a location for a dumpster. Whether you ever put a dumpster on the property is up to you.
Eight, site lighting again. That will change, so we'll address that.
Yeah, just that, make sure there's notes on for the full.
9, will comply, the recreation fee. 10, stormwater management.
That we need to get clarified with
Again.
the two areas.
Yep. Potable water and sanitary sewer needs, that's will comply. The single on-lot sewage system, we already discussed. The Percy Regional, that really doesn't matter.
They turn
Turning-
down the road.
What's that?
If they come up the
If they
road,
come up the road, obviously they have to hook up. I don't think, you know.
It's just a notice that.
Yep.
That's potential.
The fire marshal, we're not having what needs to be done there?
Plan has to be sent to the fire marshal.
That's all that has to be
Yeah.
done. Okay, now do you do that or do I do that? Who does that?
The township would do that. The township generally does it.
Okay,
We don't say an applicant can't,
all right. Well, no, if
Yeah,
you
I'm
handle
gonna
it,
make
you
a
handle
note.
it.
because Greg usually sends us.
I had a question on that one, Steve.
Mhm.
The fire truck obviously be coming off of old 309, but as shown, does it have to be able to get in both ways with a clear turning radius? Because I think if you're coming, not that they ever would, but coming the other way from Green Top, I don't know if the truck could swing in that way.
That's Why we send it to the fire company. They would comment on that. They may ask for a wider radius so they can get in both ways.
All right,
Yeah, because you'd figure it's either Sellersville or Quakertown. Either one are coming down.
they're coming down.
That's what-
if they come down Green Top, they back in.
Yeah.
Erosion, 14, erosion and sediment control. Letter of adequacy from Bucks County. I guess we'll do that when we get to the point of where we have something that you guys are okay with. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, because if you have to revise it, you have to
Yep.
resubmit to them anyway, so you're better off.
all
Right,
right.
to the stuff.
Numbered site boundary, must be shown as a solid line. Oh, I guess
We
it's
don't-
because it's dotted. Okay.
Yeah, it's just an ordinance requirement. We don't have to go through all month 15 unless there's something.
Okay,
That's something your guy could talk to me about, these items. These are just plain vehicles.
one thing, K,
sure.
statement regarding maintenance responsibility for permanent stormwater management control facilities, swales and drains, drainways. I would assume the maintenance, since it's on the property owner is responsible for maintenance.
Yes, but it needs to go further to say what type of maintenance and how often per year. Your engineer will tell you that.
So that's
There's some
either
general standards
the
of when you
engineer-
cut them.
Mowing the
don't cut
base
'em,
and that
Oh,
kind of
okay,
clean trash out of it.
okay.
So you'll say, yeah, the property owner will be responsible for checking these things X amount of times a year.
Okay, All right.
That's what we want to see.
good enough. All right.
So
Anything else? So what-
where are we with the septic issue?
I'm
Yeah,
building
that kind of brings
commercial.
us full circle back.
Yeah. Back to the beginning. So an option is, number one is to build just the commercial build, the garage with your site number one and a waiver to get a holding tank as a backup. Option two is to build and also do a fill site. So in the hopes in 4 years, that perks out, you can build the rest. Option two is to waive the secondary site with the caveat that you're gonna do the fill site, build a residence and a garage in one shot. And the issue with that is it's not a guarantee you're gonna get the perk, correct?
Yeah, yes, on fill sites. The issue here is not the soils, the issue is the rock.
Right.
So I have enough soil. So once the rock are out of there, all I have to do is fill in where the rock are. They allow me to do that. That's my controlled fill. So in other words, I'm not bringing in 2 foot of soil to make a controlled fill, or 4 foot, like 3 foot, like they do a lot of times. I literally am going to have to fill in the rock holes with good soil, which is either sand or grit. And then I do have enough soil everywhere around the rocks. I have enough soil. And it's not and it is back in, it's back further behind, which would be more ideal. I would like it back there. So it's not something that's, I have to fill the whole site. It's something that I have to take the big rocks out and fill those areas. And some of them aren't even filled. Some of them are moved them out of the way. So
Right.
it's not a risky, I understand, and you guys make your own decisions, but it's not a risky where I got to bring 3 foot of fill in, and if it fails, it fails, then I got to do something else. This is a very minor amount of fill that I'm going to need.
Yeah, if I had a guarantee, I'd probably be willing to do that. But it's not 100%, correct?
Well, it's just
There's-
4 years.
Right.
Just a 4-year wait. That's all.
I mean,
It,
Right, it's 4 years in, it has to be tested and.
yes,
it's gotta be tested, yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's not guaranteed that
What's
it's.
the
gonna
ordinance
pass.
going to be in 4 years? You're
Well,
banking on the
well,
fact
yeah.
the rules aren't going to change.
Well, I mean, at that point, it's really the health department rules.
Right.
Right.
But still, the health department could change their minds.
True. And generally what they do is you get them registered, like you could get, they'll want to see they'll want to know what you're doing, where you're putting it, and see what fill and what soil you put in, and they'll give you a letter.
They kind of witness it.
That'll
and document.
Establish your start date
Date.
for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen them renege on those, but 4 years.
Although there is a change in the 537 regs coming, and who knows what that'll be.
That's more state, isn't it?
It is from the
Yeah,
DEP, right?
yeah,
But
that
they're-
county kind of ignores a lot of that stuff too.
Can't argue
That's a
that.
big step.
So controlled fills do fail. I'm not going to say they don't. They have. I've never done one, but I've heard they fail. There is no guarantee. To be honest with you, I wouldn't waste time with soil. I just haul in sand. That doesn't fail.
Anybody else's thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's ultimately his decision. I think we've given him feedback on his plan. I think the ball's kind of in his court to go back, take all this information, figure out what his next step is.
Well, I think the only direction you can give them is that you're either not in favor of waiving the second system at all, which case he has to make a decision, or you may be willing to waive the second system if either the commercial and the holding tank, or both and the fill site.
And the guidance that we are getting from you is that that option, commercial only with the garage and the holding tank, is perhaps easier to, or more easier to get through, more logical. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Okay. with the example across the street where you could do the commercial, which is the holding tank, it's more in line with what you have approved.
The roof
Let me
is
put it that way. Yeah.
across the street.
And there's some other sites in the township that are similar, but that, the purely commercial low flow with the holding tank option is more in line with what you have approved on other projects.
Thank you.
But those other projects probably didn't have a primary site. They couldn't get anything. Yeah. This has a very good primary site.
It sounds to me like the best, at this point, the best approach is to go with the garage with your primary site, with the holding tank. We'd have to do the holding tank for the secondary site, do your fill site, and in 4 years, if that pans out, you build your residence.
That's
Does that
what
make
you-
sense?
That's what you guys want.
Does that make sense to anybody up here?
I think that's a pretty solid plan.
I think that's the most solid. I guess.
The least deviation from the norm.
But again, if you're a neighbor, what would you rather see?
Well, your
Straight
neighbor's got to
commercial.
understand, you got to wait for the right septic to get it.
They want to give you some soil.
And the-
Yeah, and it's PC, so.
Yeah, you're not asking for zoning relief.
Right.
Right.
So whether it's purely commercial business or commercial with the residents, it's a conforming use on the property.
All right, so I get so if I'm understanding this, the waiver is then granted for the straight business, no residents. I can count, if I change everything around, I count on the waiver for the business to having used the septic system that's the site that's there, but also having the holding tank as a backup. And then I do the controlled fill. I can go in and work. I do the controlled fill. And then in 4 years, if I got a secondary site, then I can come back and say, I want to build something.
You could
And-
amend you could amend this plan that's approved for the business to add the house.
Does it have to go the full 4 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yes.
can't test it, you can't test prior.
They will not. You could, but they're not going to do an approved, witness
Right.
test before 4 years.
Or you can just wait 4 years to do everything.
Well,
If you had, seriously, you had your fill.
no, I get that, but the problem is I need to get back there and it's all rock. So I need to build the driveway, I need to put the parking area in, and then if you don't maintain that,
Right.
you got a mess. And to do all that, I need to put the basin in. And to do all that, I need to get approval to get my plan going.
Plus, you want
To
to get your
put-
son's stuff out of. your-
I would love to get my son's stuff out.
I gotta live with you for another 4 years.
You're really planning on going for the house, make sure your engineer accounts for that in your stormwater.
It's already accounted
Yeah, that's what I
for,
mean. You would
so
just leave the stormwater the way it is.
the way it is, yes.
Essentially overbuilt for the business, but would accommodate the future.
Same with the septic.
So in reality, and maybe I say too much sometimes, in reality, the building can stay exactly the way it is. It just becomes a garage. There's no residence there. And later on, it can be converted to a residence.
If you move it.
I just take all the
Yeah, if you
residential
you get the
stuff out.
buffer area,
Yes.
Yeah, if I move it into
Right.
out of the buffer area, yes.
Yes, you
If
could
I-
build that size of just
That exact same
business.
thing and then
Won't
just,
get the UNO for the residents till the.
yeah, I wouldn't even try to build it. That it is what it is. At least I don't have to change the plans. I don't have to change everything.
Right.
That works for me. All right, anything else for me?
Well, you'll need to come back with the revised plan with
Of
your
course.
waiver list changed.
Yep.
Remove that one, add the
Add the other
one
ones.
for the septic. And anything else we.
Slide the building over.
Yeah, well, yeah, those are,
Slide
yeah, you'll have to address those rest of those items. And then I think your current walk on this goes to October, the beginning of October is what I have. So you may need another letter unless you get a plan turned around right away.
Yeah, my engineer is real good at that, isn't he? You said you needed to talk to Jeremy. Jeremy needs to call you about the stormwater on this? Is that, I think you said you would talk
Well,
with
Well,
him?
something has to be clarified. I'd have to reread what I even wrote
Okay.
to
All right.
know, but yeah,
All right,
Jeremy wanted to call me
I'll have him
to
get that.
clarify. We could do, that would be appropriate.
Sounds good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Good luck. Thank you. All right. That's. All right, next up is Henry Target Properties.
Hi, my name is Henry Bowen. I own a company called Coaxis, and what we're trying to do is add a small addition onto that property that I guess you guys are familiar with it a little bit. What we want to do is we make coaxial cable and coaxial cable assembly. So what we want to do is want to put a small addition to put a vertical extruder. I have to extrude my core vertically. So I need a small addition with height. I've got to get up something like just a little less than 35 feet, 33 feet or so up.
That's still within the ordinance.
Within the ordinance, right? Which I'm gonna
35 is
stay under
minimum.
35. Yep.
All right, well, let's, let me find my review letter.
Sit down.
Yeah, if you want to sit
You're
there.
looking to waive, land
Yeah.
development?
Yes, we are. I'm Scott McMacken with Cowan Associates. So yes, we're requesting a land development waiver because, from a site perspective, this is a very, very minor improvement. You can kind of see, I'll just come up. So the existing building is about 7,400 square feet, parking area in the front, driveway access. Really, literally the only improvement is this small 12 by 16 foot addition in the back, 192 square feet. As Hank mentioned, it's, a tall, skinny building addition for his extruder. But that's literally the only thing from a site perspective that's being proposed. The parking requirement meets, there's an existing stormwater management basin that is just to the north of the improvements. That was designed for about 2,000 square feet more of the impervious that exists. So we're only proposing about, 192. So that existing basin all meets the current requirements. So we do have a short letter from Steve dated June 29th. There's one or two minor changes to the plan that he wants, clarifications. But that's really the sum total of the project. And, given the minor nature, we are asking for a waiver, for that. We would agree to the contribution in lieu of. And then, we can certainly clean these items up and get it back to Steve to finish everything.
Is there any, increase in employees? with the addition?
This building's empty. I just bought it.
Right.
Right now, we're expecting only 2 employees there. There's no additional employees. There's only gonna be 2 employees to start with, maybe the potential to be up to 5 or 6, like 6 or 10 years down the road.
Gotcha. So you're not even in business there yet?
No, I have a building in Skipback.
Okay.
That I'm located at 12,000 square foot there. And I'm moving a part of my business to this location where we're just going to we build coaxial cable assemblies. And I'm just building, I don't know if you guys want to see it.
Sure.
Why don't we use the microphone?
Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry, your name's,
Oh, my name is Hank.
hey, can you use a microphone when you're speaking? Because we're recording and it really helps us.
Yeah. All right. So
Thank
what we build are coaxial cable assemblies.
Right.
And this is a finished product that we build, and I can pass it around. You can do whatever you want with it. It's a finished product that we build in Skipback.
Okay.
What we are going to build in this location is just the cable itself.
Right.
And then the vertical extruder that we're doing, it just makes the center part.
Okay.
We probably will run this 2 or 3 days a month. The rest of this cable, I'll pass it around. The small cable, like what we extrude vertically in those couple of days takes almost a month to run in the rest of our process because it runs so slowly.
Gotcha. So you're saying so you're empty now, you're gonna have 4 or 5 employees?
I'm going to probably start with 2
Okay.
and eventually maybe 4 to 5. Right now, 2 employees run that product. Right now, I do not run a vertical extruder. I'm buying a vertical extruder and installing it there at that facility. And then moving the rest of our coaxial cable business, or the cable that we make.
Gotcha.
I mean, the business is very low impact. I'll have 2 employees, up to 4 or 5 if I double or triple my business. We don't. At my current business in Skipback, I generate a residential size bin of trash right now per week. So with 35 employees. So, what we're moving there is we won't get deliveries there. Every piece of everything that we bring in will go, all shipments go to our Skipback facility. We'll load up into the back of a Subaru, take over to this facility, run what we need to run, and bring it back in a Subaru every couple of weeks. So this is what we're making.
But the employees will be there full time.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. 2 employees full time. Some of the equipment runs around the clock, but typically just run 1 shift. They come in, run the equipment, and then some of it will just run around the clock, and then come back and set it up the next day.
Is there anything we need to touch on here, Steve?
No, there's a couple, as Scott said, a couple detail items, some numbers on the plan.
Right.
Clarify, you don't need any additional parking, you don't need any additional loading space. You're using the property as is, except for an addition on the back.
You are on public water?
Yes.
No.
Oh, no,
That's
no, I'm
well.
sorry. No, I'm
That's
sorry.
well-
There-
that's a
there is
well there.
Yeah, there is a well. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a well right to the rear of the property. The building addition is not going to encroach on that. We might have to reroute the line going into the building. But the well's far enough back from the addition that that doesn't have to be, that doesn't have to be a new well drilled.
I think it's public sewer
It's public sewer. yes.
and a well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
public sewer and well, yep.
I stopped by on the way home from work today. There's 3 drain pipes coming out on the side where the new construction is, I guess from the roof drainage. Pretty close to the hill, to the swale right there. Is there anything, is that still cool with, coming out however many feet?
Yeah, the drainage comes along, basically runs, there's a swale along the side of the building.
Right.
There's a bank here, runs down, you can kind of see that the swale here, so this comes around via swale, there's a retaining wall, existing retaining wall this side, it comes down the swale and gets into the basin this way. So the swale will just continue around the building addition. There is a door back here, that we're gonna have to relocate after we go through the land development approval process. We're gonna, work on the building design and get the building plans into the township. But in terms of the drainage around the building, that really won't be affected.
And the whole building's not 30 something feet, is it? So.
No,
So it's
No.
just this addition that needs to be 33
that's
feet to run
that's
the,
correct. Yeah,
cable
the
down?
addition will be higher than the rest of the building, yes.
Comments from up here?
I have none.
Nope.
Comparable. Any public comment before we take it? None. All right. So I guess we just need to vote to recommend the waiver of land development. We want to make that motion.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So
Thank you so much for your
Thank you very
time.
much.
Good luck.
thank you.
Contact the office to be on the board agenda.
All right. Next on the agenda is old business. I have no old business. Anyone have anything?
I have none.
I do not.
nope.
All right. New business? I have none. Steve, is there anything we need to know about? it?
I don't. You will have a plan next month for that Heckler Fusco subdivision on Forest, which is another lot line change similar to the one that was done around the corner on the Mountain View Road that adjusts two existing houses to add more property to the overall Lawn Avenue site. They have an agreement of sale with the property owner, so they have to proceed with that lot line adjustment
Right.
prior to the overall plan being resolved or the legal issues being resolved. So they're going to be in next month. I don't think we have anything else. Oh, well, we're waiting for St. Luke's to come back, I guess. In Gunst. Well, you recommended Gun. They just have to make things up for the board. No, that's the only thing we have at the moment.
All right. Moving forward, public comment. Anybody want to get up and talk? Good. I didn't mean that. Look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion
Yeah, I
to
know.
adjourn.
I always forget that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.